Welcome back. I'm Kevin Nee. I'm talking real estate with Colton and Haley Kurth. I did not say what's up that time. How are you guys? Good to see you again.
Great.
Good to see you.
Good to have you in the studio.
Yes.
So before we left last time, we were talking a little bit about Next Home on Main, your brokerage.
Yes.
And I almost forgot to mention Better Together, of course, your property management company.
Yeah.
And now we're talking brokerage and agents. And because I know nothing about this stuff, I wanted to learn a little bit more about the relationship between broker and agent.
Yeah.
How that relationship gets established, how one chooses the other, and sort of just walk me through that process.
Yeah, so it can be kind of overwhelming, but ultimately, it's a partnership, and you're finding somebody to partner with. So from a licensing standpoint, you go through education, background checks, fingerprints, right? Because we talked about that earlier.
I did, I found that very confusing. I'm like, why would you need that?
Yeah, well, because you're in these people's homes,
And
so
now
it's
it makes
a
perfect sense.
background check. So you have to go through all of these things to become licensed. Once you're licensed as a real estate professional, a realtor in Texas, you then have to go under a brokerage. And so it's kind of twofold. So the agent is interviewing to figure out what broker they want to be with, what company matches their vibe, what type of structure they want, whether it's like traditional brick and mortar, here, if it's a hybrid, if it's internet based, you have to kind of figure out what structure you want. And then ultimately, the broker has to also want the agent, and the agent has to want the broker. And then you come into an agreement and you decide what type of split or terms or, costs associated with it and who's paying for what. And then you create the relationship, and now you're in business together. So there's a partnership. So the agent is searching for the right broker, and so they're interviewing. Most likely, they're interviewing a couple different companies. That's not all the times the case, because sometimes you meet someone and you're like, "We are going to work together. We are going to be partners. I am really excited to work with you." And then sometimes you're interviewing other places, especially new. You're going to get a lot of phone calls once you start getting on those licensing lists of, hey, we're the best because this, we're the best because this, we're the best because this. And it can be kind of overwhelming. But if you're out there interviewing to become an agent, please go physically sit down with that person that you're about to go into business with.
So I was about to ask, how did the interviews actually
because,
happen?
A lot of times, like I've always said this about real estate too, if I can get in the door, we're probably working together.
Yeah.
If I can get in front of you, you're probably going to pick me because, we are trained and we work hard to know how to pick up on those cues and what that person needs and to service the specific needs. It's the same thing from a broker to an agency. If the agent sits down, we go through the interview process of showing them all of our tools and our things that we have, because there's a lot that's also overwhelming. And Colton was just talking about this earlier today that, all these companies have really cool tools.
Yeah.
It's not like we have the thing that sets us apart is us, not necessarily just the tools that we have in the tool belt, right? KB Core, you're going to hear that a lot whenever you enter the real estate industry. It's a big CRM program. A lot of brokerages are now powered by it. And so we know how to use it, right? But it's the people that you're aligning with that are going to help you implement that tool correctly, that are going to be there whenever something happens and answer the phone when you call. That's what you're really looking for.
Well,
so
and I'm going to say it for you so that you don't have to. But I know her pretty well, right? And I've watched her, and I've watched kind of the evolution of her as an agent into a broker and building these processes and putting all this stuff together. And she's got this superpower of bringing people together, right? And better together, yes, right? It comes up constantly because it's in our freaking DNA. You know what I mean? Like, put the people in the right seat, in the right place, and bring the resources together and leverage them. And I think when she says that, like, what is the difference? It's her, it's us, it's it's Kim, it's Sean. It's taking all of these skills and these talents and putting them together and packaging them the right way.
Yeah. So. At one point, a couple of people had asked, like, well, why did you not start the Better Together brokerage? Why did you just do that for property management? Why didn't you? Well, because we learned we were actually better together with Next Home and Kim and Sean. So we were very specific about who we partnered with to start that brokerage and go through that process, making sure that we all had different skill sets and we had different things, and we weren't. So they're a little bit older. Their son is about to get married in April.
Yep.
And so, they're in that phase of life where we have a 4-year-old,
Right.
So we are in different phases, which allows us to serve each other actually really well and serve our agents really well. And because we are a 4-man leadership team, there's always somebody there to help you. And so when you go all the way back to your actual question, which was like, how do you figure out who you're going to work with and work for? It's aligning with the right people. So you get to interview all of these different people. We interview the agent's interviewing us at the same time, right, to see if they even want to work there. And then when that partnership makes sense, we are partnering together. You're not just coming to work for us. No, really, we work for you. Yeah. At the end of the day, we work for the agent. Because the agent can go somewhere else. We want to keep them there. We want to retain them there. And I think that we do that really, really well.
Yeah, completely agree.
And as the broker, I mean, what are you guys looking for in an agent?
Yeah, we want drive, man. I want you to be
Passion.
Yes, most people get into real estate. Well, it's kind of funny. They either really love people, and that's why they're in real estate. Or they hate people, but they understand the business of real estate. But we want the people who understand that it's a business, or they need help creating a business. We can teach you how to sell real estate all day. Those things are there. Those skill sets. There are tools that come along with it. But we're looking for some people who have that drive, who want to grow into a business, who want to,
Well, and talk a little bit about I keep going back to that conversation we we're having about the interview recently, and it's asking that question of where are you, right? Where are you in this process? Where are you in not just getting licensed, but okay, you've been in for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. You may find yourself, you're going to find yourself in a different position. And then the tailoring of things to meet them where they're at.
Yeah, so we meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
We say that a lot because I do want to meet you where you're at. Whether you're brand new and you need hands-on tons of training, I don't know what I'm doing yet. We have a system for that. Right? Like we said, we're very systemized.
We got a system, we got a guy.
We got a guy. But
do you guys have a system, or does Kelsey have the system, or no, that's
in this case, this one is a more Haley system.
Honestly, the system's got a system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
we have these tools set up where we can take you through this massive checklist that we've all been putting together through our years of experience to make sure from day zero, you licensed, you're with a broker, you can now talk about real estate legally in the state of Texas. You can sell a house, making sure you know exactly what to do, all the way to maybe you've been in it for a couple of years and you've kind of already got that training under your belt. You know how to write a contract. You know how to do those things. You're starting to generate some business, but you're ready to level up. We have that too because, a lot of times companies are really good with a new agent because there's a very specific checklist and I can teach you these things. But meeting that agent where they're at and where their production needs to go and understanding their goals and their needs and their wants and be able to meet them where they're at in their business, that's different. That's a little bit harder. And so I think that we have, we've really spent the energy and the time to figure out how to work with our current agents to be able to provide them what they need to level up. And we're starting to really see that return. So, we're also looking for agents who are maybe ready to make a move, but not really sure where they want to go. It's kind of scary. I'm doing good. Do I need to shake that up? Well, sometimes the shake-up is really what, excels you to that next level. And, moving over.
The fear motivates.
Yeah, the fear can motivate, though. It really can. And so it can be, we say it can be a scary process. Colton this morning said, no, it's not scary. It's uncomfortable. And so
it almost sounds like a first date, like the two of y'all feeling each, both feeling the other out to see if what
it really is. And
the other person's looking for.
Can you serve me in the needs that I have? If I've been in license for 3 or 4 years now and I already know all this stuff, I don't need to hear about your new agent training. I've passed that. I can teach that.
Yeah.
But when are you going to do for me? That's constantly what the agent's asking. When are you going to do for me? How are you going to help my business? How are you going to get me there? And I think that, we are really good at meeting that agent from coaching, trainings, and more specifically, training on what they need. We don't just have a weekly training based off of this ABC script of things that we're supposed to teach as a broker. We're going, hey, this thing happened to you, you and you. We're going to have an hour training about how we're going to handle that now. Yeah. Hey, agent, I've actually been on the other side of your transaction and you handle this really well. Can you talk to the rest of our agents about it? It's not always about us teaching. It's, making sure that our agents are able to collaborate with each other too and learn off of everyone's experience. So we want agents who are open, who want to share, who want to learn, because we never know anything in real estate. Every transaction is different every single time. So being able to have those agents who feed off of that energy of teaching other agents, of sharing what they're doing, and of listening to other people, because I might have more transactions than you, but that one was hard and you taught me something on it. So we're really that collaborative environment and things like that.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I think I got a pretty good understanding now of the relationship between the brokers and the agents. But I do have another question that Dylan actually brought up, one of our production guys, who's also going into the real estate business.
Yes, we're so excited.
He's getting his license in real estate. So I want to know what he was asking, or he's talking about getting his broker's license. And I just want to know, because I was a guy who knows nothing about either of these licenses, what is the advantage to having both, or one versus the other?
Yeah, it depends on what you want to do and where you want to go. So, you cannot have a broker's license without having your real estate license.
Okay, so you got to do
level
that one
up.
first.
Yeah, you got to do that one first, no matter what. And having your broker's license comes with a lot of responsibilities and a lot more legal stuff. You're overseeing all of these agents. You're overseeing what they do. Ultimately, when you're the broker for the brokerage, you're on that file too, and like they're signing for you, right? And you're saying, I'm allowing my agent to go out there and do this and represent our brand. Now, you can also have a broker's license. You don't have to run your own brokerage. You can have a broker's license and still work with another broker. It just requires a ton of additional training and education. Shout out to SFA. Because I was at business school, I got all of the education I needed to become a broker, which was really cool. I do use my degree every single day. We joke about that. Like, don't go to school just to get something random to say you went to college. I use mine every day, and it actually was able to leverage me to get my broker's license, which is amazing. So I was able to do that. And then it comes with, you have to have so many transactions under your belt. You have to be in the industry for X amount of years, a certain number of transactions, plus all this additional education, because ultimately you're having a broker to supervise other agents.
Okay, so you can't get your real estate license, just immediately go out and start on your
Nah, you got to at least know what you're doing a little bit.
Right.
Okay, so you got to get out there and work it and kind of figure it out. And then there's qualifications to become a broker. You have to take the test, which is actually the same test that Dylan's getting ready to take, but we have to get more questions correct. And so you do have to have knowledge of the industry to become a broker. And then at that point, you can open up your own business, which is a lot. We're learning a lot of things about actually owning the brokerage, like taxes and all this paperwork and all of these things, all this back office, that the agents choose to partner with a broker so that they don't have to deal with that level of things, because it's a lot. It's a lot of liability. It's a lot of...
Not only that, the back office stuff where all of the recording of the documents and keeping all of that situated has been such a tedious process to set up and get going and running smoothly. And I think that's where, again, as a systems human like she is, that's been a large... that's been a huge pro for us.
Yeah, so that's kind of the difference, is you have to level up to become the broker. Yeah. But again, you can choose to work with another brokerage. We've actually had two different brokers that have been kind of talking to us about it. One, we just were able to merge with Meta Real Estate, which was a local team in town, and they were their own brokerage. And then just as it came out, they decided to come over with us and let us take on the responsibility of the broker, and they're going to be a team within our brokerage. That's a whole nother story, because now I've probably confused you with agent, team, broker, assistant, right? But
well, you have to forgive my limited comprehension. I'm trying my best to keep up.
Yeah, but then, so their brokerage actually decided to become a team under our brokerage, because we could provide them those broker things where they don't have to worry about that level. They get to go listen to someone real estate instead of having to have that next layer of responsibility. However, he still is a licensed broker supervising his team under us. So there's different ways that you can use it. Just depends on how. And if you are interested in getting your broker's license, let's talk that out and what comes with it and how it looks and what next and when should you work on it. Because one day, we never know how the industry is going to land. You might really need it later on. Rules change every day. So go ahead and getting it could really.
I love the way she's talking about it too, because there's this idea of like never hold anything with a closed hand, right? Keep it open. It's going to come and it's going to go, and you just kind of roll through the paces. And this idea of like essentially what you just said was, if an agent wants to come in and their goal is to become a broker and maybe run their own show someday, this idea that they may leave isn't necessarily terrifying like I think it has been in some other places. Yeah. Like, you're going to come in and we're going to pour in and you're going to pour into us, and it's going to be this mutual partnership, and things change, right? And so I just love kind of that whole idea behind it.
Yeah, and like that's what I say with Dylan and Hunter. I'm so excited because they're young and they're fresh and they're just now getting their real estate license so early in their life that we're going to be able to build them up the right way, where they're going to be set to make all these big decisions and where do they want to go and land. And man, I hope we're doing it together forever, because that would just be awesome. But if I can help pour into them on how to do what we've done, that's huge. You know, I want to be able to teach that to someone else. I want someone else to be successful. I want to be a part of their journey and their success. You know, I want that for everybody. So if you're looking just for somebody to come be your cheerleader, I'm a great cheerleader.
Cheerleader, trainer, coach, accountability. You name it, we can do it.
All that. We literally, and go watch some of our other stuff. We have a video of all of us waving our pom-poms, you know, at the end of our training. So we are literally cheerleaders
Actual
for you.
cheerleaders.
Yes.
Literally.
Literally.
And I just got one more question for you guys, just to close this out here. Say someone decides, like, and I'm sure this varies, like, tomorrow, I decided I want to get my real estate license. How long does that process typically take?
So that's going to be up to you. Okay, Dylan, y'all are doing it with 6 weeks? They got all the classes done in under 3 weeks. They're going to have...
But is that common?
No, they are working it. And I mean, we had long conversations about this where there's online courses and they're good for 6 months. So I guess you have 6 months to do it, or you can do it as fast or slow as you want to, right? Physically going to the classes, they're getting them all done in under 3 weeks, closer to 2 weeks, doing the prep, and then you have to go actually take the test. So you can get it done within a month. I mean, you know, you really could. I know Colton did that because of our transition that we were working on at that point in time. It was like, go, go, go. I got mine done within a month because I was just coming out of college. I still understood how to test and study, and I took advantage of that. Got it done quickly. Dylan, they're physically going to class, cramming them all in within under 2 weeks.
I would love
during the holiday season too, by the way. They are rock stars and getting it all done.
Super busy and also cramming it in. But I would love to know the stat on how many people start the online portion and then get.
Oh my God, it disappears. Yeah,
you get a couple modules in, and you're like,
I'm out.
Yeah, because
I'll get back to that next month.
It's work,
it just never happens.
And Texas is one of the harder states to get licensed in.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of like stuff going on lawsuit wise and whatever. That's a whole nother podcast. But Texas is already ahead of the game on a lot of that because we're a harder state to get licensed in. We have more required documents than other states. And then as a brokerage, you know, we really try to protect our clients and our agents by having the right documents in line so everyone's protected. And that's another thing. Whenever you're looking, make sure you know what that, you know, those types of things. I know it's kind of intricate, and it could be a whole nother thing. But
it's just that there's options out there where you have a broker who's not necessarily present.
Yeah.
Right. Like you don't necessarily you're not being directly not necessarily not directly reporting to them, but you maybe never even met them.
Yeah.
And in that case, how do you know that all your stuff is where it should be?
Yeah.
And how it should be? You leave yourself open to problems.
The real question was, it's your pace.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
it could be different for someone like Dylan
who want to go.
From an academic standpoint, is doing it right after, you know, at a young age when you're still fresh
know how to do all that.
Exactly. Like somebody who hasn't been to school in 15 years.
Yes.
Like, I forgot how to even.
I know. I was so
prepare for
nervous
this kind
about
of
my
thing.
broker's test because I hadn't had to take a test since I took my real estate test.
Yeah.
And that was right after college. And so it's like, oh my goodness, it's, you know, so if you're thinking about it at a young age, go ahead and get it because, man, what's it going to hurt that you've got your license and then maybe you didn't use it for 6 months or a year? You know, keep your education up. Even if life changes, always keep that license up to date because there is continued education to stay on top of it. Because, again, it's a big deal. This is people's largest investments. We're going to make sure that you're educated and staying on top of it so that you can, you know, you still qualify to serve them.
So when you're talking about it, the way you said it made me think of this, that there are also options out there for people who don't necessarily want to continue to pay the MLS dues, but want to keep their license and want to keep it active and can also still generate a little bit of income.
Oh yeah, I'm
while
actually
doing
really
that.
glad that you said that. So the market's constantly shifting and people's lives are constantly changing. So we actually have a referral program where we can hold your license and it can be active, but you're only in the referral network. So you're just sending referrals. So like because you're licensed, then and you got somebody that wants to do real estate, but you don't want to show, you don't want to list, you don't want to like real estate them, you can actually refer it and still get paid as long as your license is active. You can still get paid on that relationship and sending them to someone else to serve them. So we actually have that. So if your business is in the phase of like, you know, I still have a great sphere, but like I don't necessarily want to work it like that anymore, or I'm moving, or I'm retiring, or whatever, we actually have a spot for you to land. We can keep your Texas license active, send out referrals, and still collect money on those relationships that you've built.
That's been the crazier part of me. Like you're around more, you see a little bit more, and hearing some of these stories of people who have been in the industry for forever, right? And when you look at people's CRMs, their client relation manager, and you see the amount of contacts that are built up over even 4 or 5 years, and it's in the multi-hundreds, some in the thousands, and you think, okay, if that person really is working it like that and it's their career, having that database of all these people and being able to still not have to go out and do real estate every day, day in and day out, but be able to take those connections and leverage it for more income.
Yeah, and
huge.
it's a really low cost. Like if you're just not in the place anymore, or that's just where you're at, where you don't want to pay MLS dues, it's a really, really low cost because you're not paying a monthly fee or
Right.
anything like that. It's a yearly fee, and then you collect your commission because your license is active. So it's a really great spot to land, but you're not like practicing real estate. You're just continuing to leverage that license that you've had. So that is another option that we have. We're trying to be completely full service. So we do have that option too. And I think as the market changes, some people might need that for a little while. You can land there as long as you need to and keep those costs down, but keep your license active. And we provide free CE, which is continued education. We provide that as a brokerage. So you could be in a referral network, paying nothing, getting free education, and collecting those referrals.
So I want to make sure we don't close out before you hear, because I think we're almost out of time. The way that we're different, right? Because we've been talking about that a lot. The referral network that we've talked about and the one we've built is also keeping these people as much in the system as they want to be. So all of our meetings, they can come to those. They're involved in that. They're coming to the client parties. They're coming to these things because they're a part of the brokerage.
Yeah.
They're a part of that system. So I just think that's another little value add that's really cool.
We're meeting you where you're at.
There you
I
go.
told you would hear that a lot, but we are in, whether it's you want to be more referral based, no fee type situation, not really looking to practice, or elevate your business dramatically. We're going to meet you where you're at.
Well, thanks to you two, I need to go contemplate my future. But,
Talk to Dylan. He can tell you all the tips right now.
2 weeks. This could be you.
I mean, I'm like, I haven't studied for a test in a long time. But anyway, in the meantime, that's all the time we have for this week. But I want to say thank you guys so much,
Yeah.
Colton and Haley Kurth with Next Home on Main and Better Together. Let everybody
Yes.
know where they can find you if they have any other questions or just want to look you up.
Yep, we're all over Instagram, Facebook, all that at Better Together Realty Group or Next Home on Main. And then same thing.
BetterTogetherPM.com. Better Together Realty Group.
Yeah, and nexthomeonmain.com.
There you go.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Thanks.